Hi there, this is Edmund. I'm a model and fashion videographer, and welcome to this small DaVinci tutorial, and it's actually going to be rather a improvisation. So what we're going to do is we're going to edit this beautiful shot of Evelyn, our Argentinian model that I filmed in Ibiza last year. And this is a 4K shot. It was filmed in 50 frames per second in 8-bit 420, and we're going to edit it in 24 frames per second. So it's going to be like a slow motion shot. So first of all, the settings, 4K 24 frames per second, that's all well. And prior to this, prior to hitting the record button, I also generated the optimized media. So it's a proxy, meaning that I can really edit a bigger file in real time, even if my equipment that I'm working on is not that fast. So what we're going to do, we're going to choose the right bit that we want to edit, and I think let's put this one as out and this one as in. Just a short clip, and you will be actually able to download it and edit it yourself. So let's see how it looks like. It looks nice. So it's a 4-second shot, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stabilize it. And there is not too much movement in it, so I'm just going to hit stabilization, stabilize, and just with by using the default settings. And let's see how the end result is going to look like. There we go. And it looks pretty cool. So as far as editing goes, this is it. We're gonna jump straight into the color. So we're going to grade it. So what is our intention with this shot? Well, judging by the colors, if I'm going to create a small mask over here, small window, then I can see already that the shot is pretty done, like filmed nicely, meaning that the whites are pretty wide. I can see it on the vector scope, and I also want to see her hair. I'm going to zoom in a little bit, and we can see that the blacks are actually black. So that's cool, but we're still going to perform a small color correction. And one of the reasons why we want to use the white balance, achieve the white balance, is because at this moment her face has basically almost the same color as the rock. And if we want to create any kind of mask, or if we want to isolate her skin tones, then this may be hard to achieve. I'm not sure if we're actually going to do that, but let's make at least sure that her face, her skin tones are not the same, that they don't blend with the rock that she stands next to. So the simple workflow that I use in every tutorial that I'm creating is the first node to be the primaries, and the second one to be white balance. And after that we can add some more and see what kind of look that we're going to create. So when it goes to the primaries, we switch to the waveform, and we see that we have quite a lot of shadows, not too many midtones, and not too many highlights. The highlights are primarily her swimming suit. So normally I go for primaries, wheels, but today I'm actually going to use the curves. So let's play around a little bit, make sure that the shadows are lifted a little bit more, and that we have also the right contrast. Our intention is to make sure that her body, and especially her face, that it pops out. And I think that we will have to use a couple of masks, at least one, to make sure that we really focus the lighting on her face. But for now, maybe a little bit of contrast, like this. And let's play with the pivot. So yeah, this was this was before, this is after, and it's it already looks much better. So let's go to the white balance and let's switch to the vector scope. And so what I'm going to do first, I usually just fuck around, just use the offset, which affects all the colors. Let's just go for the look that looks visually good, and after that we're going to correct it even more to make sure that the whites are white and that the blacks are black. And here you can already see that the rock looks different, that her skin tones look more natural. And if you're not familiar with this small line here, this is a skin tone indicator that helps you to achieve those amazing, healthy, beautiful looking skin tones, whether you're filming a model, whether you're filming, I don't know, a client, during an interview. This is where your skin tones should be, to achieve that very, nice, naturally looking shot. Okay, so couple of small steps here. First, I'm going to make sure that her hair, which I interpret as black, is actually black. And I lost her a little bit here. There we go. Well, I think that this is pretty black, but I'm going to make it even smaller. So I'm creating the window to make sure that that I can identify the blacks. And if you're looking at the vector scope, you can see that the blacks are not really blacks. They're going, in a direction of the blue. So we're going to use the color wheels, and there we go. We're going to, here you can see how it affects it. This is, the shadows being black, being blue, and here, if we're going to balance it, then we really see that they're black. And without the window, it looks like this. And the next step is we're going to use the same window and go to like a bigger portion of her swimming suit, like this. Let's see where it is. This as well. And make sure that it's white. And you can almost, you cannot really see it here, but it's not really, there you see it. It's a little bit off, and we're going to center the highlights as well, the gain. There we go. And we turn off the window, and this is the look that we have. Well, to be honest, I'm not really happy just yet about it. Let's add another note and just call it skin tones for now. And what I want to look at is I want to, yeah, that's the issue. Now I see it. Basically, we're not going to use it in that direction, but I just wanted to see how her skin tones look like, and we can see that there are there are more like orange and yellow, and so we're going to work on that. How are we going to do it? Well, let's go to the secondary color correction. Let's change the hue. And so what we're going to do is we're going to choose the skin tones, and then here we can actually see that we're changing the color. And ideally we want to be somewhere around that indicator line. And at the same time, I'm resetting the qualifier, and there we go. This looks already much better. I'm actually going to add another parallel node. There we go. And so what I want to do here is, I don't really like the color of the rock here. So I'm going to repeat this process, but now focus on the rock, like this. And here you can see that we can go in so many ways. We can make it more red. Actually, we can turn it into any effect that we want to, into any color that we want to. But since it's it's parallel node, then we actually it has an effect on some of her skin as well. So I'm going to do it differently. Let's add another node. Let's call it rocks. There we go. And let's repeat this process. And okay, now it's much better. What kind of look do we want? Well, there is, you know, if you're colorizing or if you're color grading, there isn't a wrong kind of look. It really depends on what your client wants, or what kind of look you want or your model wants, and wherever. But it's all subjective, you know. It's about the look, the feel that you want to create in your video. So here I changed the hue a little bit, and I want to change the saturation of that as well. Yeah, I like that. That looks better. It looks more natural, although we still may want to play around with some contrast, etc. But I really like the look. And one more thing that I want to do, and this will be a parallel node, is I want to change the color of the sky. I mean, right now it's a perfect sky. It looks cool, but I want to make it a little bit more. I want to make it a little bit more artistic. I'm going to call this one sky. There we go. And I'm going to select the sky, and instead of making it more like purple, I'm going to go in the direction of green. So this is like a nice teal look. And I think it looks pretty cool. When it comes to her skin tones, I think that we may also turn down the saturation a little bit. There we go. And this is quite a cool look. So summarized, this is how it looked before, this is how it looked now. Much more detail, you know. I think it's pretty cinematic as well. Although there are so many things that we can do with it. Let's do at least a couple of things. First, I want to create a mask that focuses on her face, and I go all the way back, and I'm going to create a mask that resembles the shape of her face, like this. and we're going to track it. We're going to track it back because this is the end of the clip. There we go. You know, there is some external lighting. We used a reflector, but there is still not too much light on her face. If we're looking at it, then we're even mostly beneath the midtones. A little bit lost right here. Okay. So, how I want to affect it? Well, let's play around with the primaries first. Let's raise the midtones. There we go. So this already creates a little bit more focus on her face. I want to make it softer as well. So we're going to the second tab. We're going to use the midtone detail, and instead of moving it forward, which will create more detail and more contrast, we're going to go like -10, -20, and I'm not sure if you can actually see it here, but it makes her face softer. Another thing that I would like to experiment with is to see if we can actually get the face refinement right. Well, if you don't have a paid version of DaVinci Resolve, then this may this may not actually work. If you don't have a paid version of DaVinci Resolve, then you don't have this feature. But if if you're serious about this niche, whether it's a hobby or whether it's a profession, then I really advise you to get the license of DaVinci, because it's an amazing software. It's very cheap, but the features that you get, I mean, even 5 years ago or 10 years ago, we couldn't have dreamed about a piece of software like this. And so the face refinement creates a mask. Yeah, it's a little bit off, but maybe we just got it right. I must say I don't have too much experience with it, but what it does is it creates an overlay over her face. It identifies her face, and we can actually choose to adjust different parts of her face. And so let's say we want her eyes to be brighter, and then we can do it like this, and apply some sharpening as well, and it really creates quite a cool look. I'm not sure if the mask got it right, because sometimes it gets a little bit off, but I think it's pretty cool. One other thing I want to do is let's experiment with shine removal, which eliminates those more extreme kind of highlights. Again, if I turned off this node, then you can see quite a huge difference. Let's go to eye retouching again. The highlight, this is probably the easier one. Adds some light to the area of her eyes, and the eye bag removal, well, it speaks for itself. I don't think that she needs it. Again, I don't want to make a look that looks too fake. Her eyes can be less bright. There we go. But yeah, when you're doing like beauty videography, etc., this is just super cool. And it's such a powerful tool. Lip, let's see if we can add a little bit more saturation. You probably won't even see it here, but it looks pretty cool. So now we have, wow, it looks really cool. I really like the look. So without this whole mask, you know, it looks like this. And the whole video, you know, compared to the raw footage, looks like this. So it's it looks pretty cool. So let's start wrapping it up. I think a vignette would be cool, and let's just use a standard you know, effect as a vignette, a bit less soft, a little bit bigger. There we go. And so the primary, you know, role of a vignette is to create more focus on the model, on when she's in the middle of the shot, and you can really see that we have a lot of highlights here on the side, and this vignette covers them, and it really shifts the focus from the unnecessary parts of that frame to the model herself. Although, of course, in this case, she looks fantastic. And I don't think that any man or woman will be looking at the rocks in a shot like this. One last thing, let's use a little bit of sharpening. There we go. I actually have to look for the note that I created. There we go. I should actually name all of those notes, because if I want to go back to this project, well, I think it's pretty smart to make sure that I can identify which notes are which, etc. So that's about it. This is the shot before, and this is the shot after. Again, this was Evelyn from Argentina, amazing model. I'm posting a link to her Instagram in the description. Make sure to follow her. She's amazing. Also an amazing model to work with, and I'm very grateful for this shot and for the opportunity to work with her in Ibiza, Spain. And of course, thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any questions, if you have any things that you would like to learn more about, make sure to either email me or post a comment below. And I'm really looking for some new ideas, for some new things that you guys want to learn, and then I can create some tutorials about it, or I can just keep, you know, uploading those kind of improvisations, you know, like this one. And yeah, I hope that this was valuable. Make sure to like the video. Make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Every subscriber makes me happy. And also join my email list if you want to be, if you want to get some more pro tips, and also if you want to be the first one to find out about my new content videos, and much more actually. So again, thank you so much for watching. I hope this was valuable. This was Edmund Punov, the model videographer, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much.